Financial Times reports that Meta is bringing NFTs and creator coins into Instagram and Facebook. Google releases a new way to search using both images and text at the same time. The feature is called multi-search. TikTok releases CAP University, an educational resource and a program for creative agencies. All these news items and much more coming up in this week's edition of the Connected Church News with me, Nachi Lazarus. Welcome. This is the show that brings you the top 5 digital and social media news each week in just 5 minutes. Let's get started. Last week, Google made an interesting announcement about a new option for searching on Google called multi-search. This is a new way to search using both images and text at the same time. For example, you would pick up your Google app and you'll point it on, say, a particular kind of a dress or some kind of a garment that you want to search for, and you will type a variation of it. For example, you point at a shirt and you look at a green shirt, but you actually want to buy a black shirt in the same pattern. So you would just type the word black in the text column, but you'll take a picture of that particular shirt, and Google will pull up that dress and the related searches for you using both the text and the image as the parameters of the search. So very interesting. And whenever a company like Google that leads the search space makes an announcement, we need to pay attention to it. If you find this 5-minute news video useful, I'm going to ask you to help us reach more church and ministry leaders like you by clicking the like button. Thank you. If you've not yet subscribed or if you've not clicked the bell notification, then you might want to consider doing that so that you don't miss any news episode that we upload every single week. Thank you. Now let's get back to all our news items. Financial Times released an article about how Meta as a company is planning to bring Web3 elements like NFTs and creator coins into its apps like Instagram and Facebook. It is very fascinating to see how a big company like Meta is thinking about merging these elements. There are lots of details in that article. I definitely recommend you have a look at this article, but let me read out just one paragraph to you that says, according to one memo shared internally last week, Meta plans to launch a pilot for posting and sharing NFTs on Facebook in mid-May. As soon as that, this will be quickly followed by testing of a feature that will allow membership on Facebook groups based on NFT ownership and another for minting NFTs. Definitely a news that you need to watch out for. It's great to see how Meta is really thinking about this space. Twitter starts testing an important feature called unmentioning yourself, where you have an option to remove yourself from a particular tweet thread or a chat conversation that you are involved in on Twitter. When you choose to unmention yourself, 3 things happen. First is your username is untagged from the original tweet or on any replies, just like, untagging yourself on a photo on another platform like Instagram or something, right? That is the first thing. Second is users won't be able to mention you again with the same reply chain. So no one can mention you again in that thread. And third is you will no longer be notified of any updates in that conversation. So in a public conversation space like Twitter, it's kind of nice to have a feature like this where you can remove yourself from conversations if it is not going in the right direction. So I think it's a good feature. Do have a look. Nextdoor, which is a social app that focuses on local communities, neighbors, and neighborhoods, has announced that they are releasing their self-serve advertising platform. Nextdoor is an interesting app that seems to be growing in popularity because of their focus on local communities. Their website says that nearly 1 in 3 US households have some kind of a presence on Nextdoor, and 55 million business recommendations have been made from neighbors. And I know as churches and ministries, we are all about local communities, neighborhoods, and so on. So that's why I wanted to bring this to your attention. So if this fits into your plans of reaching a particular neighborhood in some form by ads on Nextdoor, then I think it's worth exploring this path as a non-profit or a church. TikTok has released a new educational resource or a program called CAP University. CAP stands for Creative Agency Partnerships, where TikTok is wanting to teach agencies, creative agencies, how to use various resources, how to pitch to clients, how to structure their campaigns, how to learn from creators, licensing for music, and so on. So, lots of interesting details. I wanted to bring this to your notice because even if you're not an agency, if you're an agency, you should definitely check it out. But even if you're not an agency, but as a non-profit media team or as a church media team, it's important for you to understand these things, like how does licensing work, how can you approach a campaign, and so on. So it might be worthwhile passing this information on to your church media team so that they can take these programs and understand how to use TikTok for your ministry. Those were the top 5 news items I had for you this week. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week with another set of news items. Until then, you stay connected and stay blessed. God bless you. Bye bye.